Hello everybody, today we're going to be comparing the iPhone 13 Pro versus the regular 13. Now, I just upgraded from the 11 Pro to the 13 Pro. Love this phone, beautiful color, Sierra blue, and my friend just got the pink regular 13. So I wanted to compare them, take some pictures, real world tests. I don't like to do this just specs because specs don't mean anything unless they translate to some real world data. And I think I got that today. So is the 13 Pro worth the extra 200 bucks? That's quite a chunk of cash. Or is the 13, the regular one, good enough for most people? Stay tuned to find out. If you liked the video, please hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks so much. So here we have the two new phones, just recently purchased, Sierra Blue iPhone Pro in the 256 versus the pink 13 with also 256 gigs. It looks a little more, this pink one looks a little bit more white, but I can tell you in person, it actually is a really nice, soft pink color. But I love the Sierra Blue. Now, I was coming out of an 11 Pro. I still have that phone. I liked my iPhone 11 Pro, was that midnight green, beautiful color. So I need to do a review on that. Should you upgrade? Obviously, I did upgrade. So I think it's a yes, but yes with a if you really want it. Another quick thing to note is that I am shooting this now on the camera right now is from an iPhone 10. So I think you're going to see a big difference between the introduction, which I just shot on my 13 Pro, versus the front camera. And I used the front camera on that one. And now I'm shooting this part right here as I speak on an iPhone 10. I can definitely tell that the front camera is not as good. So this is another kind of real world test that if you have an iPhone 10, you can definitely get a better front camera by upgrading to the 13. Okay, I'm back now shooting with my front camera on my 13 Pro, and I think it's so much better. All right, one note about this review is it's a real world test, very practical. I don't like tests which just say, you know, here are the specs. You can go to Apple's website, you can scroll up and down, and you can see all the differences on paper between these two phones, and it's helpful. But I like real world tests, so I'm just gonna test the camera and the feel of them and take some videos and some pictures and really just see for the average person which phone is better. So what surprised me was there were actually a lot more differences than what I initially thought. The more I used the phones back to back for about 2 hours, I could definitely see that the Pro has got some features, but are they worth it? Let's talk about sameness. These phones are the same size. They have the same screen size. They have the same resolution and the same notch, which is now 20, I believe it's 20% smaller on each one. That makes a little bit of a difference, but not too much. Like I run a VPN, and I wish that it had enough space to show the VPN, but it doesn't. You have to swipe to see the VPN. So that's kind of lame. So I don't actually think that you see any more of the icons, even with the notch being smaller. Maybe on the 14, the iPhone 14, they'll totally eliminate the notch, but now we live in like an Apple notch world because their MacBook added that too. Same A15 Bionic processor on each one. Both phones are really fast. You know, you're not going to have any trouble doing basic tasks. Both also have 5G, but I think I'm on 4G on mine because the 5G does take up more battery, and I don't mind using the 4G, but both have the same 5G. Both also have this ceramic shield, this front glass, which is supposed to be really strong, amazingly strong, but you'd be crazy not to have a glass screen protector on there, which we both do as well. So from a processor point of view, from a screen resolution point of view, from a dimensions of the size of the screen, these phones are exactly the same. But now let's get into the differences. Let's talk about why I like the regular iPhone 13 in some ways. First, it's lighter than the iPhone 13 Pro. It's in aluminum, it's not stainless steel, so it's lighter in the hand. It actually feels a lot better, and I've watched some other videos and people are saying the same thing. I felt that too when I went into the Apple store. It just feels better in the hand. It's not as heavy. It's the right weight of what the phone should be. Next is price. This iPhone 13 is in the 256 memory size and it's $900. And the Pro version that I got is $1,100. So $200 less for the regular 13, which is quite a chunk. And it has two really good cameras, a 12 megapixel wide and ultra wide, which takes fantastic photos. So I really like this regular 13. Side note, now I'm taking video with the front camera on the regular 13, so I can show you the 13 Pro. But the front camera should be about exactly the same. So we have the 13 Pro Sierra Blue 256. Now, even though the 13 and the Pro are cut from a similar cloth, maybe the same cloth, same shape, same processor, similar cameras, the more I used the Pro, the more I could see how it excelled in almost every area. The first biggest difference that I noticed was with the telephoto camera that the 13 Pro has. I'm in Athens, Greece right now, and I zoomed in on some oranges with each phone, took some pictures, and you can definitely tell that with the optical zoom on the Pro makes a huge difference with clarity and picture quality. This picture was taken with the iPhone 13, not the Pro. And although it's not bad, there's just not a lot of detail on the orange. Now this was taken using the iPhone 13 Pro, and look at the detail in the orange, the dimples. The telephoto lens, the optical zoom makes a huge difference. Again, iPhone 13 regular and the iPhone 13 Pro. I also zoomed in on these flags and you can tell a big difference. Here is the zoomed in picture from the iPhone 13, and from a distance it looks the same as the Pro. Here's the Pro picture, and they both look pretty good. But when I zoomed in with the 13, you can definitely see that it's a grainy picture. The 13 Pro, a much clearer picture on the zoom. One more time, iPhone 13, 13 Pro. Next, the 13 Pro has got a great macro lens for macro photography. You can really see the close-ups on some amazing things. First up is the iPhone 13. I tried to get close to some tree bark, and it's not bad. It's not like the iPhone 13 won't take a close photo. But here's the iPhone 13 Pro, and you can see, the wood fibers. So yeah, any type of serious macro photography, you want to go with the 13 Pro. Here we have a picture of my jeans with the regular 13. It's not bad. You can see that it's jean material and kind of the angle of how it's threaded. But then you look at the Pro and you see the individual fibers. I mean, you can see how it's woven together. Now that's pretty cool. I'm just a novice at this, and I know I'm just scratching the surface. Some of you out there can do some pretty amazing stuff with the macro lens. If you're into macro photography, that you gotta have the Pro version. Here are a couple pictures. First one, iPhone 13. Good outdoor lighting. Really couldn't tell the difference between the two. And now here's the Pro. Both look really good. With good outdoor lighting, you won't go wrong with either the 13 or the Pro. But on this one, I could not get rid of this lens flare with the regular 13. Here's the Pro, and the Pro didn't have it. So this was one of the times when the Pro outshined the regular one. Pun intended. So two more differences and better features with the cameras on the 13 Pro is that both the wide and the ultra wide have a little bit lower aperture. So they'll take better low light photos and just better photos in general. And you can see that when you compare the two cameras, the two systems of cameras, that the 13 Pro are quite a bit bigger, that those lenses are letting in a lot more light. The 13 Pro also takes night selfies in portrait mode, which I thought, who would use that? And then the other day we had this big snowstorm here in Greece, and I went out there and I was taking night portrait selfies. So I guess I'm using it already. One more big upgrade on the 13 Pro is the 120 Hertz Pro Motion display. It makes it ultra smooth. The iPhone can regulate, I believe it's 10 Hertz up to 120, depending on what you're doing. But it's ultra buttery, really slick. It's nice to scroll, and it's definitely a superior display over the regular 13. Would I buy the 13 Pro just for the 120 Hertz Pro Motion display? No, but it is nice to have. I was at the Apple store a couple months ago and I was talking with one of the employees and they said about the Pro Motion display, oh, it's something that you can't unsee. Like once you see it, kind of you have to have it. And I believed them at first, but honestly, when I go back to my 11 Pro or use the regular iPhone 13, it's still good. I mean, the iPhone's always been a slick phone and really smooth phone. So I can tell the 120 Hertz is a big improvement. At the same time, like anything else, you get used to it. So I don't even notice that I have the Pro Motion display, only if I go back and use previous models or the regular 13. But even then, both displays are really good. But hey, I like the new Pro Motion display. Another benefit on the Pro is that the screen's max brightness is higher than the regular 13. So if you're at the beach, if you're outside, if you're in sunlight, you can definitely tell with the phone side by side that the Pro gets brighter than the regular 13. On the left is the Pro, and you can definitely tell that it's brighter than the regular 13. You won't notice it unless you're in direct sunlight. So normally the displays look very similar, but it's nice to know that when you need those extra nits of brightness, that it's there for you. Also, here's some video with the 13. Definitely a solid video camera for daylight. And here's the Pro. Really can't tell a difference. Both of these are in HD. I don't use 4K. Both phones also have the cinematic mode, which blurs the background, and both of them look really nice, but I don't remember which phone this was, but in the daylight there wasn't much of a difference. So which one should you buy, 13 Pro or regular 13? First, I have to say that I'm shooting this video now again with the iPhone 10. The front camera, man, it's just horrible. If you have a 10, definitely upgrade if you take front videos, because I'm having a hard time doing this, but thanks for bearing with me. If you like taking great photos and great videos and want uncompromising results, then I would go for the 13 Pro. In addition to the video and the photography being better on the 13 Pro, I think that the brighter screen is also something to take note of and a big benefit with this one. Finally, we have the Pro Motion buttery smooth 120 Hertz display, and that's another nice thing to have, although it's not worth just getting the Pro for that. I think with everything else, that's a really nice bonus. For most people though, if you're just like good photos, good average photos, I mean better than average, come on, this is an iPhone, so it's gonna take great photos. But if you use the optical zoom, if you wanna do macro stuff, this is not it. But if you just need a new phone, if you have an iPhone 10 and older, I definitely say that the regular 13 is gonna be a big upgrade for you. And as I said earlier, this thing does some things that are better. The main thing being that it's lighter, even though it's aluminum compared to stainless steel. You know, stainless steel is always more premium, but the aluminum does feel good in the hand, and holding this thing is so much easier. My friend says that she reads in bed, and it's much that she'd have a hard time holding the 13 Pro, and she has an easy time holding this. So if you read in bed and you hold this over your head and you read a lot, then go with the 13. Otherwise, get the Pro. I think it's worth the 200 extra bucks. I didn't think it was at first, but again, the more I use this one, the more I can see that it's superior. Now, I've tried to be like a regular person with like tech, right? Get base models. For example, I got the iPhone 11, the regular 11, when it first came out. I decked it out at 512 gigs of memory, and you know, I had it shipped. Well, I had a friend bring it to me from Greece, to Greece, and I got it, and I said, man, this thing is lame. It was it was thicker than my 7 Plus. The screen resolution wasn't as good. And now I realize that I'm a pro person. So if you have inklings of photography, inklings of maybe you want to aspire to take video, splurge and get the Pro. And I don't think that you'll go wrong with that. For everybody else, I can't show you because I'm shooting video on the regular 13. The 13 Pro is a solid phone and camera, and for most people, you probably won't go wrong with that. Let me know what you think, and if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Take care.